Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Either way, we're glad to have you here. I am super excited about my guest this morning. We are going to talk money. Yay. Money is definitely a topic that a lot of people shy away from. But this lady right here is going to tell you why that is not going to be the case with you, right? I am super excited to have Terri Alford here with us this morning. And Terri, before I get to you, and welcome, by the way, I'm super happy to have you.
Thank you.
For
Thank you.
carving out
For me.
some time to talk with me this morning. But I just wanted to remind everybody, so I am a certified ULA life coach, and we have those 7 key areas of life that we look at. So that's fitness, finance, family, field, which is your career, faith, friends, and fun. And so when the ULA guys drive around the country in their 1970 ULA bus, collecting dreams on these dream stickers for everyone, the top 2 dreams that we have that are placed on that bus are about fitness and finance. So clearly finance is one of those topics that everybody feels like they need to know more about. And somehow they just feel like they can't grasp it, right? They just have these dreams around being debt free or being able to take that vacation or buy that home. But for some folks, it's really hard to figure out the path to take. So that's why I have Terri here this morning. So Terri, again, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became so passionate about this field of finance.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be on anyone's platform, but especially your platform, with you being such a beautiful person on the inside and outside. So thank you again. So again, my name
back at you, sister.
Thank you. So my name is Terri Alford, and I have been in financial services for some time. I originally became licensed in 2015 in financial services with the license to do life insurance and annuities. However, I actually got my undergraduate degree in finance in college. But I felt like I wanted to move. And so I heard about this program called Teach for America. I applied for Teach for America. I decided to teach, and I taught for a couple of years. And there was just still this yearning to help educate people on financial services and teach people what they may not have been taught at home or taught growing up. And so even when I progressed from a teacher to a principal, that was actually my last position at my school, I made sure my scholars, they knew about entrepreneurship and they knew about personal finances, and they took the information home, and their homework was to teach their parents, because I'm like, I really, really want the message to go outside of the classroom. And so on today, I am a full-time entrepreneur. I own TNA Financial Group, which is an independent firm in which we help business owners and families eliminate their debt, plan for retirement, and grow their money in a safe way so that they do not have to worry about stock market losses. In addition to that, I do have a community for women, and this community is called Business Women Building Wealth. And I educate, equip, and empower business women on their wealth building journey, because it's important for us to be around like-minded people. And I'm glad that we're talking about money today, because money is a taboo topic for some families, some friend circles, and even when it comes to our businesses, sometimes if we're speaking about our businesses in the wrong circles or in the wrong spaces, people can give us the side eye, or they're looking at us like, well, is she gonna be quiet, or is she gonna talk about her business again? So it's important for you to be around people who thrive by speaking about their businesses, their partnerships, their finances, their money, the things that they're doing, because together we can really achieve more.
Absolutely. And I know that group is on fire. I've not attended any, like, I know we have a networking group that we attend together, but but that Facebook group is just on fire. So just so people know, so in ULA, when we talk about finance, there's a rule that we have a program called the Green Gap. And that basically, the ULA guys are absolutely passionate about helping people get out of debt and become debt free and live that ULA life that they want to live. And I know you feel the same way. We have a Green Gap program, and basically what we teach people is how to get out of debt quickly without losing their minds, right? Because we know that can be a hard road to hoe, especially those of us who have student loans, right, and other things going on. But basically what we teach is the 45-45-10 rule. So The green gap is that gap between your income and your outgo. Hopefully that's a positive number, right? So let's just say, for number's sake, you have 6,000 coming in, you have 5,000 a month going out, you've got this $1,000 that you can work with to help you get to where you want to go financially. So we teach 45% goes to debt reduction, 45% goes to investments and retirement, right? And then 10% goes to fun, because that's where you can stay sane in this process as you're trying to reach your goals. Now, the reason I've got you here is because we don't do financial planning. We don't do investments. And so we need people like you to help us figure out that 45% and how we're going to invest that and where that's going to go. So can you talk to us a little bit about what you guys do and maybe how you can help us reach that goal within that 45% that we're focused on in terms of investments? How do we get the most out of our money?
Absolutely, absolutely. So when it comes to investing, you have three types of people, right? So you have people who are aggressive investors, you have the conservative investors, and you have the moderate investors, which are the investors in between. So I specialize in helping the moderate investors as well as the conservative investors. Now, the aggressive investors are the ones that are interested in getting as much money possible, even if they have to lose everything that they invested.
Whew.
So they like risk. Okay. They're like,
Yeah.
if
make it happen.
You're right. If it grows, it grows. If I lost it, at least I'd rather have, what's the quote? I'd rather have love and lost
and never loved it all.
Loved it all. Yeah. So they're like, I'd rather have risk than not risk at all. Right.
Yeah.
Those are your aggressive investors. So those are the ones who are looking to get extremely high returns, but they understand that there are extremely high risk. I have a target audience, and my target audience are people who are not looking to, who are looking to risk as much. They're a little more risk adverse. Now, I will say, if you are an aggressive investor and you are listening, I can still work with you, but there's a limited number of products that I'm going to help you with, and the other products that you would want, I will outsource those or refer you to someone who specializes in those areas. I do believe that it's important for us to be a master and an expert in certain areas instead of being a jack of all trade and a master of none. So I'm putting that. So again, so with the moderate and the conservative investors, some of the things that I do is I help get their money out of the market and be able to have guaranteed income for life. So let me share with you what an example of that would look like. So I have a guy who he left, I won't say the name of the company, but let's just say he left this really big company and he started to work for a smaller company because he's in the last 5 years of his retirement. And so he said, Terri, I have about $400,000 in different accounts, and I just want to consolidate them all. And so I start sharing with him about ways that he can grow the money and be safe with the money. Some of the money was in a 401k, some of it was in a variable annuity, and he didn't know it was a variable annuity. So when I showed him where he could put his money, he said, oh yeah, I've heard of these type of accounts before. I think I have one. I said, go do your homework, sir. Go do your homework and go see the type of account that you have. He said, okay. And I said, you may not have what you think you have. Long story short, he came back next meeting. He did his homework. He looked at all of the accounts. All of the accounts were risky accounts, and he had 300,000 instead of 4.
Oh, that was a shock, I'm sure.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was 310,000. So he had 90,000 less than what he thought he had because it had been so long since he's seen it. I said, see, this is what I was telling you about, sir. So let me show you what I can do. And so by the time he retires in a few years, that 310,000 will have multiplied to be over $1 million. Right? So in less than 7 years. And him putting his money into one of our products gave him an instant 25% bonus. Not 25% bonus. Let me back up. It wasn't 25%, $25,000 bonus.
Oh, yeah.
So he got a $25,000 bonus by just putting it in because of the bonus on that product. So I say that to say, if you have someone who is retiring or they've moved money and they've left money at their 401k, they at their old job, they did a good job saving, but right now they want to make sure that they're able to have the most amount of money because retirement is near. I specialize with those people. I specialize also in helping the people who don't have a retirement plan or they're starting at zero. I met a couple of women a couple of months ago, and when I did their financial needs analysis, I asked them about their retirement plan, and both women made it well over 6 figures, but they didn't have a retirement plan because they said, well, I had a retirement plan, but I had to use it to help my children go to school. So I had to pay for my children's tuition because they didn't get enough financial aid because I made too much money. So I feel like I'm starting over. And so I specialize in helping people who either never had one or had to have start over. Another thing is, I must say this. So when I meet with people and I ask them about their retirement planning process, and by the way, retirement is different for different people. For some people, it's not working for anyone else, but working for yourself. And some people, it's not working at all, just being able to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Right.
So I do ask my clients, how do you define retirement? And when I'm speaking to them about their retirement nest egg, I ask, how much do you have? How much do you want to have? And what age do you want to be? So we can identify that gap. And sometimes people say, well, Terri, I had, or Terri, I used to have. And they start there because of an illness that has occurred. Either they became ill, a spouse became ill, a parent became ill, a child became ill, their sister who's a single mother became ill, their only brother became ill, and they had to use that money to take care of medical expenses and living expenses. So I know in your program, you all are very direct about telling people to save and have that emergency fund. But I tell people you need to have an emergency fund that is someone else's money. Okay. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. So in terms of insurance, every company has to have every insurance company has to have so much money and assets to be able to write these plans. And so the companies have billions of dollars, and a lot of that money is not paid out because people don't know that they can put a claim in if they have something called an accelerated living benefits rider. An accelerated living benefits rider comes on some policies, depending on the company, at no additional cost. And if you have this rider, if you are diagnosed with a critical illness, a chronic illness, or a terminal illness, you can accelerate your funds and use your policy while you're living. This can be on a term policy, which is a temporary plan. It could be on a whole life policy. It can be on a guaranteed universal life policy. Some of my guarantee issue policies have them. It can be on an investment grade life insurance policy. But these are important for people to have because, again, as we're talking about retirement planning and planning for your future, it's important for you to diversify your portfolio. I'm not saying put all of your eggs in one basket. You do want to put some in life insurance. You want to put some into IRAs, Roth IRAs, gold. You could put money in real estate. There are so many ways to invest. You could do cryptocurrency, stocks, bonds, mutual. I mean, you could just do so many things. However, if you put your money in all of these accounts and the wrong medical emergency arises, you're going to have to withdraw money from all of those accounts. Why use that money when you can use someone else's money called the insurance company? That's what the money is there for. So even before I speak about all the ways to invest your money and grow your money and accelerate your savings, what I speak about first is the accelerated living benefits. Because if you are medically able to qualify and be approved for that plan, then it's incredibly important for you to have that. Because if you don't have it, then you're going to move your money and use your money. Then when it's time to retire, you have to start all over again.
And I assume you would pay penalties on some of that as well, which you don't really want to do, right? I mean, that's
yes, with some accounts, when you pull the money out, you have to pay like a surrender charge or early withdrawal fee. The good news is if you do have a need to go to a nursing home or you have a need to use the money because of a chronic illness with a lot of our products, even if it is a retirement product, you will be able to withdraw those funds without the surrender charge or without the early withdrawal fee. Our companies have that type of accelerated living benefits in which they don't charge you for it, but not all companies do. So
Right.
you have to do your research, get with a licensed professional who understands your needs, your wants, and who's going to act as a fiduciary, which means they're acting with your best interests at
Right.
heart, not their
Not
own.
theirs. So I'm loving this. I want to talk about something though that I know comes up a lot in with the women that I talk to and coach, and that is this issue around shame and money. The reason I love you is because you just don't judge people. Like, you just take people where they are. You just ask the questions and then you help them get to where they want to go. Can you talk a little bit about the folks maybe you've worked with that have maybe some shame is such a harsh word, but that's really kind of what it is. Shame and guilt, and maybe just don't want to reach out to a professional such as yourself because they feel so embarrassed about what's happened to them or where they've been. Maybe they've been through a divorce or two, or, maybe there's just some issues around this. How can you help them feel more comfortable about reaching out to you in particular? Because I know your heart. I know you are a beautiful Christian woman, and I know you will love them. But what are some things that they need to overcome to be able to reach out to you? Some mindset issues, I guess, is what we're talking about here, right?
Right, absolutely. And that is another reason why, if you don't mind me saying, if you are a businesswoman and you are listening to this or you're watching this, feel free to go to jointerri.com, because in my Facebook group, I am dropping different things to help you with your mindset around money. But I say this in the most humble way. I'm not a pompous person, but I do believe that I have a gift, and I approach
would
my
agree.
clients like I approach my students. So it's just like when a student, let's say it's the first day of school, right? And I have a classroom full of students. Some students have IEPs, some students have 504 plans, some people are advanced, some people are a little behind, and they're nervous because they don't know, like, oh my gosh, what is this teacher going to be like? What is this class going to be like? So I work on building rapport, and I really get to know that person and let that person get to know me. And so if you are nervous about where you are financially, first of all, know you're not going to be the first one that I've seen like that.
Right?
The doctor, right? You're like, oh, I have these issues. I'm sorry, I don't want
He's
to
like,
tell you.
oh, I've never seen that before.
It's not like the doctor is going to say, oh, you are the first one. What have you been doing? No, they're going to say, okay, great. Case number 50. Like,
Right.
it is
Check.
just, right? You are not alone. You are not the first. You're not going to be the last. If you were the only one, there would be no need for me. There would be no demand, right?
Right.
So just know that it's super important for you to realize that we are financial doctors. I consider myself to be a financial doctor,
Love
but
that.
also an educator, right? I'm an economic empowerment advocate, right? I want to empower you. So I can't empower you if I'm trying to break you down. I'm going to empower you even if you come to me and you say, okay, Terri, I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball. I'm 50 years old and my account balance for my retirement is 0. I'm starting over. I can tell you, you're not the first person to experience that. I can tell you, I had to start over. I started over when I left my job as a principal. I was able to have like a little bit of a cushion, but there were a few different directions I wanted to go in with my life. And I had my financial services business, but I also had a women's single Christian women's business, right? And that business, the foundation of that was based upon me teaching, training, going in person, doing speaking events. And I left my job at the end of 2019. And a few months later, guess what happened?
Guess what happened?
COVID happened. The
Yeah.
entire country shut down. So all of this time and effort that I was putting into building what I thought was going to be my bread and butter, and which was going to help me stay a full-time entrepreneur and not have to go back to a job, that was not it. I had to pivot very quickly. And
Yeah.
since I had my financial services business and I was working my financial services business, and with that business is called Principles from the Principal. And so I had a subgroup of that in which we focused on financial principles. And so I literally just took the financial principles card because I said, well, this is where I'm going to get the biggest bang for my buck right now. Because churches, no one's going to church, pandemic, right? People are not leaving their house. There are no in-person events. I have to take time to build my brand and do all of this while everybody is afraid because loved ones are dying left and right. So what did I do? I pivoted. Instead of doing in-person meetings and in-person consultations, I moved to Zoom. I pivoted. I focused just on financial principles because I felt like that's what was needed during that time.
And it absolutely was. And I'm telling you, if you don't believe that God doesn't put you in the right place at the right time with the right people, I don't know how to help you, because I'm telling you, I think all of us, if we look back on our story during that time of the year, or at that time, right, in 2020, all of us probably would have that kind of a story. You know, all of us were looking at things like our money, our homes, right? I'm not kidding you. I tried to order a shoe rack during the summer of 2020, and no one on the planet, Container Store, Amazon, no, because everybody was cleaning out their closets and redoing their homes. And my point is, they're refocusing on the important things, and money certainly is one of those important things, right? I mean, I feel you.
Right. And so when I tell that story, I'm telling you, like, I know what it's like to start over. I know what it's like to be nervous. I know what it's like to be afraid and not know what's going to work, but you have to pivot and say, okay, I'm going to commit to this and I'm going to stick to this. I may have, not, because to be honest, when I started Principles from the Principles, I built that business so backwards, and it's on pause right now.
Don't we all when we do it?
I had like all these, I had an online store. I had all this stuff that was labeled with my logo and all of that. And no one knew the brand. So of course you're not just about to go out there and just buy a bunch of Principles from the Principles t-shirts and workout gear and journals and things like, and mugs. What is that? Right. And so I did it backwards. I needed to pivot, but I also needed to, like you said, trust that God knows best. And so I don't believe that things are coincidence. I don't believe I'm here. I don't think it's. Can I be real with y'all? And so I was talking to my therapist a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, this happened, and I really don't know how to process this thing. And she's a Christian therapist, and she said, whenever things happen, I always ask, is it odd or is it God? And with
I love that.
Listen. So awesome. And so, like, now when I'm experiencing things that seem different, I have to, or weird or uncomfortable, or sometimes you just get those butterflies, or you may get chills and you're like, what is this? And now I ask, is it odd or is it God?
I am totally stealing that from you, but I will totally credit you for that, because that really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? I mean, wow. So listen, we are running out of time. I mean, this has been so much fun. Here's what I want to ask you. If there is one piece of advice that you could give my watchers and my listeners right now, what is the best piece of advice that you could give them? Like, what could get them started today? What could really get them excited? What do you want to share with them? And by the way, how can they get in touch with you? So those two things, what is the best piece of advice you have for them today, and how can they find you?
Excellent. Okay, best piece of advice, you need a financial dream team. You need a financial dream team. Do not put all of your eggs in one basket. Do not put all of your hope and your projects and your pressure on one person. I did that, and the one person was me. I was trying to do everything for myself, by myself, with myself, and I was allowing things to slip through the cracks. So even as a financial professional, I have a CPA. I have a bookkeeper for my business, right? And then I have people who specialize in certain areas where I'm not a specialist. I have a woman in my circle who is a tax attorney, right? So you need to have a dream team. You need to have someone who's going to be your accountability partner. That may be your spouse, it may be your best friend, it may be your your sibling, but someone who's going to say, okay, well, Melissa, you said that you wanted to have X number of dollars in 5 years, but you just got this $10,000 bonus and you just bought those shoes. And I know that those shoes are not aligned with your goal, right? I'm going to go live in a few weeks in my group to talk about why. If you see me with red bottoms, just know they were a gift.
Okay.
They were a gift because, and I'm not saying that you can't have nice things. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have luxurious things. I'm not saying you shouldn't treat yourself. You should definitely treat yourself and pay yourself first. But I am 32 years old and I have a goal to retire at 40. And because I have a goal to retire at 40, it does not financially make sense for me to go out there and buy a whole closet full of Louis Vuitton. It just doesn't. Now, for some people, that's great, but I have a goal to retire at 40. So I have 8 years to get it done. And so I have to have people in my circle who are going to keep me accountable, which is why I have a financial dream team. And so if you're not in a place where you feel like you can hire a financial dream team, then build one as you go. Get you a tax professional, let someone else who has studied all the laws and everything, let them do your taxes. Get you a bookkeeper. Maybe your bookkeeper can, again, it could be someone who specializes in bookkeeping, but if you can't do that just yet, maybe you have a teenager who's taking accounting in high school, give them your receipts and have them put it on the Excel spreadsheet for you. Don't what I'm saying is don't try to do it all by yourself.
Find a way.
Right? Find a way. Have you a financial dream team. Have someone to help you with your retirement needs. Have someone to help you with your insurance needs because they're not all treated the same.
Right.
There are so many things that you can do with your insurance policy. You can pay off debts. You can help your babies become a millionaire. You can do so many things. You can use it so that you can become your own bank. There are so many things that you can do, but you do not have to be the source of all knowledge, okay? It's good that you study and you do your research, but don't try to wait until you have learned everything that you think everybody else knows to take action. You take action and build you a financial dream team so that you can have people in your circle who are going to direct you, and you can focus more on your purpose. You can focus more on doing what you've been called to do instead of spending all this time trying to put in 20, 30, 40 years of experience that you could have just put by hiring your financial dream.
I feel like there's a series coming here on YouTube, right? I feel like we need to talk offline because you've got so much. I just kind of feel like there's a short series coming here, or maybe a long series. I don't know, but anyway, Terri, thank you. So how can people find you?
Okay, excellent.
Throw it all out there. Out there. How can they find you?
Okay, so if you are a woman who is a businesswoman building wealth, you can go to jointerri.com. When you go to jointerri.com, you'll be invited to the special Facebook group. That's the first thing. The second way that you can get in touch with me is you can reach out by phone, which is 682. I'm sorry, there's a lot of things going on around me. 682-305-1593. Also, you can go to my website for my business, which is TNA Financial Group, www.tnafinancialgroup.com. And if you have forgotten all of these things, just reach out to Dr. Melissa and she will tell you how to get in touch with me.
I'm going to put all of that stuff in the description but easy for me to say, description box below so that you guys can find that. This is going out on all of our social media channels. So hopefully, you'll find us one way or the other. You can always email me at melissa@drmelissaoden.com. Go to my website, drmelissaoden.com. Send me a message. We will get you connected with Terri no matter what. But seriously, Terri, I thank you so much for spending. I know you're on the road right now, and I really appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. I'm serious about the series. I think it would be well worth our time to kind of explore some of the different, like really niche down and talk about specifically some of these things that you've talked about, because this has been really high level and it has been so much fun. But I know that there are people out there who just really need to know these very specific things that you have to share. And so would love to give you the platform to be able to do that. So if you don't mind, that would be phenomenal. We'll talk offline about that. But in the meantime, thank you so much. Safe travels to you. And so for everyone, be grateful, have faith, and go get your ULA life.